Hello, everybody. My name is Victor Miranda, and this is.
Jassica Halim.
And today we have the pleasure of interviewing Jennifer in regard to her experience in the translation courses here and interpretation courses here at Long Beach.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
So, to get started, the course that you took in consecutive interpreting taught by Dr. Togato was grounded in evidence from studies in cognitive psychology that focuses on interpreting. Can you share how that shaped the way you approached the interpreting tasks and what impact it had on your performance?
Yes, it was very interesting the way she mentioned that we need to learn how our brain works in order for us to train it and be actually aware of what we're doing and how. So I remember she started by saying, when you start to interpret and when you start to exercise this profession, your brain is actually going to change and the way you process information is going to change. And that actually made me really aware of what we are capable of. And I was thinking, how will I do that? But it's all practice and being actually conscious of this change for it to happen. It was really interesting to see myself improving this time.
It's good to hear. How did your experience in the course prepare you for real-world interpreting or professional growth?
I appreciate that we started practicing almost right away, even if we didn't have the whole basics, the grounds for it. Professor was like, we need to start now in order to get rid of the anxiety, the beginner's anxiety, in order for you to be comfortable and understand your surroundings and how the process is going to be. And she tried to do it very much how it will be in real life, and that's also something really awesome. I feel like that's not really common when you're in university, when they put you in real life situations. She started doing that almost from the get-go, so now I feel like I'm more prepared and I know what to expect.
Nice to hear. What surprised you the most about the way interpreting was taught in this course at the Donato Center compared to what you expected or even your experience somewhere else or at other universities?
It was my first time taking an interpreting class, but when I was registering, I remember reading the description and it said something like learning basic techniques and terminology. So I thought, okay, we will do a lot of reading, but it was actually a lot of practice, and that took me by surprise. I think took everyone by surprise. It was interesting. I wasn't expecting it, to be honest, but it was a good surprise. Of course, at the beginning, everyone is nervous, like, oh, it's our first time, but you get used to it, and the nerves and anxiety start to lessen as you go. So it was a nice surprise.
Can you describe a specific moment when you realized how much your cognitive flexibility or memory or attention or processing speed had improved thanks to the training methods used by Dr. Togato?
Yeah, I think the last exercise actually, when we had to come to the board and do the interpreting exercise, really taught me what I was able to do. It was before I was just in my notebook and we were all sitting down, the professor played the recording and then we did it, but actually going to the board and having that space to myself, I started to analyze, okay, this is how I'm going to do it, this is how I'm going to tackle it. And when the exercise started, I could see, okay, this is how it's going to be. This is the symbols that I'm going to use. They're saying this, so I can write it like that. And it was very interesting because there is a mental load. There is a huge mental load because your brain is doing multitasking. Like you are listening, you then organize information in your brain, and then you have to note it down in a way that is, of course, comprehensible. Also for you to read it out loud and interpret it in the next language, in the target language. So yeah, seeing actually the board after the exercise was done, it was, I don't know, it was really, I felt very proud of myself seeing everything that I could do and reading it back in the target language. It was, oh, okay, so yeah, I can do that. That's interesting.
Thank you. What would you say to someone considering joining CSULB's interpreting courses at the Donato Center?
I would say, honestly, take it. Don't be afraid. The professor is someone really capable of, and there's studies that actually prove this method. She just didn't invent it. It's proven, and yeah, you're going to have a really good time.
And what kinds of strategies or techniques did you learn in this course that made interpreting feel more manageable or even enjoyable?
First of all, understanding how our mind works. For example, understanding our working memory, so that is storing information in your brain and actually doing something with it, not just it staying there. So when we listen to the discourse, it stays there, and then we think, okay, this is how I'm going to write it, and then it stays there for when you're trying to interpret. Even if you forget a symbol, or if you get in the middle of the sentence and then you stop, it's still your brain. So that was important. Of course, note taking, as I'm saying, learning symbols, also developing your own, because those are very personal for each interpreter. They are very important, so we can think, okay, I can pick this and see inspiration here and then, but it is very personal. So understanding yourself and your symbols. Yeah, I think those are the most important things.
Very good. What did it feel like to see your performance recorded and shared with the Donato Center and the RGRLL department?
I was a bit nervous. It was my first time being recorded. As I said, it was my first time taking an interpreting class. I wasn't expecting for it to be shown to more people, because our exercises were usually recorded, but only for us to see how we improve throughout the semester. So this time, the professor, Dr. Togato, said, we're going to actually show it to more people and see what you guys are capable of. I was, okay, let's see the response. I don't think anyone was expecting this response, so thank you. We really appreciate that.
How would you describe this course to a student who's nervous about interpreting or unsure of their skills?
There's a lot of practice, as I said, and it's okay if you don't get it right the first time. No one does. So I understand the nerves, and I understand if people are scared, but this is what this class is for us to lose, that anxiety, those fears. It is very manageable, and there's also theory for us to understand the concepts and then put it into practice, which I think is always a good idea. So yeah, it was really interactive, and there's a lot of room for improvement also. So again, if you don't get it right at the beginning, it's okay, you will.
Very good. How has the training provided by Dr. Togato changed the way you listen, remember, take notes, or focus, not just in interpreting, but in other parts of your academic or personal life?
Why? So when we listen to this course, we actually, as interpreters, we have to organize it first in our heads. And the way Dr. Togato said it is, you start to make like a mental map when you listen, and you start to recognize main ideas, secondary ideas, and then supporting ideas. And I think that is important when, as it says in the question, to learn, for example, okay, you learn what to focus on and what is the supporting ideas. So yeah, it's the way that our brain starts to organize information that is really helpful, and it's going to be helpful, all my life.
Last question for you, Jennifer. Would you take this course again or recommend it?
Yes, of course I would. I was really nervous, but now that I'm here, I can say yes, of course I would take it again. And if anyone ever asks me, like, yes, take it. It's really great.
Thank you
Thank you.
for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.